Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today I titled this message, Corporate Exposed, Ways that they are looking to save some money. Corporate Exposed. Look, some of you all, anything that comes out where you see a celebrity doing something that you have known for as long as you've been on the planet, that it is not a healthy thing, it is not a good thing, it is something that the doctor has warned you about, it is something that your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, good old-fashioned common sense has told you, and yet the celebrity shows up and tells you to do it. That's enough for you to say, no thank you, I'm not going along with the programming. When you get celebrities involved to push things that are totally the opposite of what you know to be true, of what you know from personal experience, follow the money trail. And you'll find that someone, some group is saving some money somewhere. It costs a lot of money to make sure that equipment is sufficient, that there are enough employees working, for instance, a plant. It costs a lot of money to make sure that food is produced quickly, that food is produced in such a way that it doesn't lose its flavor. But corporations come along and say, well, do we have to use all natural ingredients? Can we use some fillers? We need to save money here, people. We've already cut some jobs. Now we've got to skim on the ingredients in this product. When's the last time you turned the product around and looked at the label? When is the last time that you read what you are ingesting? Some of you all have done this for a long time, to the point where you reason that what you see on that bottle, or what you see on the meat package, or what you see on those dry ingredients, it's okay. It doesn't make it okay because you've seen it for years. I mean, we saw plenty of things such as warnings on cigarette packs. Doesn't make it okay to smoke. We've got body counts where people passed away as a result of what they were bringing into their body. So I understand, though, why doctors were slowly but surely being discredited. And doctors were told to be quiet. And doctors were told that if you do this, you'll get more money, or you'll win an award, or we will put you down as an expert and the world will know you as such, or we'll give you your own talk show if you don't say this or do that, or we'll distract this person because they're not smart enough, Lord Jesus, to figure out what we're up to. But we know that this one is going to be a potential threat if he goes out there and he starts telling the public the truth, because they know that your conscience is going to catch up to you sooner or later, and you're going to want to run your mouth. So let's just make sure that you, who have a huge platform, you're put in the box, and you're so busy doing all these other things that you won't zero in on what we're doing. Nothing to see here. They got some of you all continuing to eat all sorts of things, continuing to just not do anything to better yourself. They got you telling other people, don't worry about it, it's okay, it's all right, when you know that they're ingesting things that are creating, obviously, lots and lots of health problems. They got you in such a way mentally where you will go to the hospital, sit there with your relative, knowing why he or she is there, and yet you will think about something else that caused them to be there based on some large word someone uses. But what caused them to be there in the first place? We're not talking about what happens after the fact. We're talking about years and years of what did this relative do, the reason why he has high blood pressure, he has high cholesterol. He's got all sorts of ailments in his lower extremities. Who was he exposed to? What was he doing? What is his medical history? What did he recently do as a result of having now 5 more health ailments on top of the 5 that he already has? You don't question. You don't look at very closely at what the person has done or what they've ingested, what they've eaten late at night, what they've drunk on a consistent basis, where they went when they got what they got, and now we're all stuck with all sorts of health ailments. And now you got to be the one that's got to roll somebody down the street and bathe somebody and lift somebody up or roll them over. She did something. He did something. They swallowed something. They allowed a nurse to do something to an arm. Come on now. I'm just talking to some folks like the way even a little child would talk and say, well, Daddy, he put something in his arm the other day, didn't he? Well, Mommy, she had a lot of pills and they were like right there on the table and she was taking a bunch of pills. I don't think she should have taken so many pills. You see? Put the pieces of the puzzle together. You got corporate entities that protect their brands. Let me say that again a little louder for somebody who maybe this might inspire you to get a lawsuit going. You got corporate entities who are protecting their brand by any means necessary. They are saving money by any means necessary. We need a face that the public trusts. So let's put that celebrity that they love. We've already surveyed the populace. This is what they've told us. We've given them pennies on a dollar to complete the survey, or we've given them a gift card, or we had a little giveaway. So we've got some pretty good information here. And so we're going to put this particular celebrity in front of everyone to tell them that they need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And in this way, we won't have such high standards, or we won't have to do what we've typically done that's costing us a lot of money. And if they're okay with seeing certain things in their food, you see, then we won't have to deal with lawsuits in the future. So go ahead, e-bugs. Follow me, follow me, follow me. I need for you to go ahead and get this done. We told you that this is going to help you, okay? I'm switching gears now. Follow me. I need you to get this done. There's been some new issues out there that's creating all sorts of problems. And you don't need to know all of the details. All you need to do is do what we tell you to do, okay? And we're going to give you a donut. and we're going to give you a discount on, and we're going to put your name up in lights, or we're going to make sure that your children are well taken care of for the rest of their lives. Oh, there's a whole plan of one issue after another issue coming out, and then you're talked into, and then the next issue, and then you're talked into that, and eventually, before it's all said and done, with enough pressure, everybody's going to be on board. At least that's what some hope. Sometimes you'll win some individuals with a smile and with a familiar face, others not so much. So we've got to make it worth their while. What can we come up with? Your way of life, as your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, that they wanted for you, which would be better, has changed in such a way where this is modern day slavery. Not with belts and chains and whips and things like that, even though there are some who are very disturbed in their mind who still do this sort of thing. But making you comfortable enough before you feel trapped. I'm not ready to go down this path. Somebody says, well, here are the consequences because you're not ready to go down this path. We can't afford a person like this, okay? This one's going to cost us money. And I told you, board, we are trying to save money. So for those who don't want to play along, we're going to make it difficult for them. And before it's all said and done, they're going to be begging and pleading to be a part of our network, to be a part of our team. We're only giving top dollar to those who will comply. Everyone else who pushes back, who's skeptical, who's cynical on what we're trying to do, we're going to give them peanuts for money while saving money ourselves. Does that sound like someone's corporate establishment that they're working for right now? You see, they call you into a room at some point and they start telling you about all of these things that need to be done within the organization in order to save money. So we need to cut back on office supplies. We need to cut back on various services that we used to provide employees. We also need to make sure that we shop around for different contractors because these contracts that are coming to an end, we do not want to renew these contracts paying this amount of money. Absolutely not. So I need our admin team to do some thorough research and find us the best prices, or I need our accounting team. You see, it depends on what corporate entity structure, what have you. Or maybe you don't have a team anymore and they got you as the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. So you got to look up everything and do everything. And if you don't do a real good job saving the company money, then they're going to replace you with somebody who they can pay less. Okay? Because they really didn't like you too much because, you know, somebody, as far as they're concerned, brought you in and they feel like they overpaid bringing you in. If you've been there for 15, 20, 30 plus some odd years, some of you all know this. They don't want to keep paying you that kind of money when I can get this one who just graduated out of high school, or this one who just graduated from college, or this one who doesn't have any education but is a fast learner and isn't going to give me lip because they're so desperate to have a job anyway. And they told me so during the interview. So please, talk back. Have an attitude. Complain. And then someone ends up out the door, because they're going to find some things on you eventually that you're going to say, it's not that serious. For some of you, although you know how this goes because it happened to you. I worked as a temp, so I saw it happen to permanent employees, where the corporate entities, plural, were looking for ways to save money. There were some very expensive equipment that was needed for some of these institutions. And institutions could be any institution. So don't assume anything, because I'm talking broad, okay? But the equipment was going to cost a lot of money. And we got to do something. So here's what we're going to do. And that included getting rid of some employees, hiring temps seasonally. And then there's going to be a few other things we're going to do. We're going to, and they started talking about all these other things, okay, to save money. So when people started piecing together what was happening, of course, they weren't too happy about it. And then there's the murmuring and the complaining, like the Israelites. And so next thing you know, some people are either quietly escorted off the premises by security, or others just don't show back up to work because they found another job because they know that they're going to be done dirty. So, yeah. Saving money, right? All sorts of ways to come up with a strategy so that numbers look good on paper. Okay. Some folks in one particular organization decided to just fudge the numbers. They weren't going to make any changes. They were just going to fumble around with spreadsheets as if they weren't going to be found out. That's what was so dumb about what some of these knuckleheads did, okay? And I say that lightly, because then what happens is that then they hire other people to come in to have to fix all the foolishness, you see, in an effort to what? Save money. You got that right. Over the years, this business of exposing maybe a specific group, exposing a host of a radio show or talk show, exposing a business by name. These sorts of things, when they occur, there's repercussions when individuals are too detailed about what they're exposing, okay? They give way too much information. Even God himself will hold us back and cause us to be very mindful of what we say. Some people simply talk way too fast. They don't know how to control their mouths at opportune times. And so they slip up, they say a name, and then down with the ship. Okay? If you're going to be doing anything good for humanity, I would say start by talking to the Creator. Even if you don't necessarily believe wholeheartedly in a creator, take a chance anyway. You take a chance on everything else and everyone else, including strangers. The one who created you, the one who put a heartbeat in your body, the one who put breath in your body, who makes the sun rise and the sun set, who controls our seasons. Talk to him. and ask him, where are you being taken advantage of? Don't rely on media, because media is giving you whatever script they're told to say. Don't rely on favorites in the family to give you good information. Don't rely on ministers, deacons, even mothers decked out with their fancy church hats and beautiful dresses and high heels. I need for somebody to get connected with the Creator. Because when you meet with the Creator, much of what the world tells you is important isn't. Let me say that a little louder for someone who you're groveling over numbers right now. And you're concerned about taxes, and you're concerned about what the manager, what the boss, what the board, what the investors, what your A-list circle, your sisterhood, your brotherhood thinks. I need to ease some of your stress, some of your tension, and tell you to take, number one, a deep, long breath. And I mean, every time the worry, the stress shows up, I need you to take that deep, long breath again. And it's showing up again, and I need you to just keep doing that. It's important because some folks are leaving off this planet prematurely before God is able to speak a word to you that's going to empower individuals who their money needs to be saved, not the corporate entities. The little man down the street, his money needs to be in his pocket. And some of you all are educated enough to school him on what he needs to do with his $5, what he needs to do with his $20, what somebody needs to do with the inheritance money, what somebody else needs to do with what has been willed to them, what somebody needs to do with the life insurance payments. Somebody else I see in the spiritual realm is saying, Lord, I need you to solve this financial issue for me. I need you to order my steps on where to go, who I can trust. Maybe you are that trustworthy one who's knowledgeable on how the little people can save money. We got too many rich people in circles who pose like they're broke. Let me say that. Just a little bit louder. We got too many rich people who pose like they're broke. That's their game. Remember, children of darkness serve the father of lies. And that has been the biggest lie going while they like to accuse other people of telling lies. The biggest lie going is to pretend as if you are not, that you are not rich. And some of you all, you do a good job. And I understand why you do it, because you got these needy people who keep knocking on your door and they don't know when to quit. But you need to be real with them and tell them that I know that you feel this way and that way about me. I'm going to give you one last time, and I'm not giving you anything else. And even if they say, I knew you always had money, I knew you always this, that, and the other, I plead the blood of Jesus over your life. I ask that the Lord bless you. And then you get your phone number changed if it's like that, where you feel like you got to tell lies every time people come around. But some individuals, they do this because this too is a strategy in saving money. Oh, I'm just like you, says a celebrity. No, you're not. You are nothing like me. You're nothing like me. Some could be a blessing to some individuals, but what they're fearful of is that you're going to go out there and you're going to run your mouth and you're going to say, this celebrity gave me, that celebrity, and all this. Okay? So they hold back. It's not so much about I'm being a stingy person and I don't want to give. It's just that they don't want any problems because they already got enough problems when they sign the contract with their handlers. And I can hear somebody now saying, well, you need to use a different name. And in this way, nobody will tie anything. And that is true. If you really want to give to someone, you can figure that out. Hallelujah. Glory be to the one true God. But then on the other end, there's going to be the question of who was this person that you gave ABC money to? And so they got to figure that out too. You see, put it under another category, I guess. Either way, this is what some individuals do, is they pretend like they just don't have when God says, oh, they do have. And so what's messy about some of these individuals, and one particular person comes to mind, and God, ooh, Lord Jesus, I could see in the spiritual realm, God is going to have his way. I can't be specific, but he's going to have his way. This particular individual, he was good about bragging on certain occasions around a bunch of family members how much he had. And he liked to compare his wealth with others. And this caused many problems. Like people started getting to where they went in on him, cussing at him, threatening violence on him, all of that. Why do you have to be this way? Why do you have to, let everybody know what you got, who, your investments, your savings, who you're connected to? It was really disturbing. It upset many family members. But then when there were other family members who said, well, I'm going to challenge him on this. I'm going to see if he's really worth all of what he claims. And I want a piece of the pie. And that's when he cried broke, or he changed the conversation, or he acted as if he didn't have for that particular time. But I'm getting something, but the intention, though, is to do A, B, and C with it. I'm not helping you. Okay. Not only that, this was one who he didn't particularly care for females when it came down to money and business and things like that. Nice to look at, beautiful, oh, look at you, But when it came down to it, he wasn't trying to empower or help out females. Okay? I want you to know that there are those who will use females to save the money. She can be the housekeeper. She can be the babysitter. She can be the person who does the yard work, the landscaper. She can hold all those different titles. Save that man money. But he's not doing anything for her to empower her. Hear me when I say that. Because just as this happens within families, this also happens in the big leagues, in corporate establishments, in corporate entities. It is still archaic. It is still old. It is still the way it was decades ago at the top. We've given women X amount, but we're not giving them anything else. Not anything that's going to compete with us. There was one particular woman who said, look, what I'm trying to accomplish, a business owner. She says, and here they go again. They're talking negative about me. They're doing all sorts of things to derail my business, impacting her loans, impacting her ability to advertise and get the word out related to her business. It's not so much that some of these women aren't interested in these industries. It's because we got corporate entities that don't want women to be competition. We also got those smaller businesses owned by men that the men at the top don't want you to be competition for them either. They don't want to do more with the products that are already selling. They know how much it's going to cost if they add on to something that's already making them billions of dollars. You come along and you say, I got a new idea, a new invention. I've got something even better than that. It is going to cost a little bit more money to make. Rather than that company wanting to partner, no, because we know that if we change the mold of our current product, it's going to cost us more to make, and that is not the direction that we want to go. Oh, I know it's nothing but the Lord giving me this knowledge today. And so as we are looking at what's happening in business, more specifically stocks, we're seeing that there are going to be those that are going to lose big time because they rejected the small business that said that we could make you even richer, but you didn't want to do business because here's another thing. There's still prejudice, biasness, right? Racists at the top as well. They come up with a lot of excuses as to why they don't want to deal with certain people. Then when every T is crossed, every I is dotted, then it becomes what? What's the issue? No, well, what happened? No, you just don't want to do business with the African American, or you just don't want to do business with whatever ethnicity, and you fill it in, right? Because if every T is crossed and every I is dotted, I don't understand what the problem is. You see, the internet made it easy for people to find out who people are, their ethnicity. And as much as some people will say they're fair, I find that there is some prejudice that goes on in some of these corporate establishments that have long been a European. I know it's a hard truth for some individuals. I remember an individual asked me, you should have been this, or you should have gone further, or you should have had this and that. Look, after you have done all that you possibly can do, and still nobody can give you an answer as to why some things aren't working out, and you've done everything that those who are part of the establishment have told you to do, and still, what's the problem? Female, Christian, black. Wow. Yeah. When there is this move, though, to save money, it's interesting how Christian is welcome. Female is welcome. African American is welcome. Why? Because you're not asking for an hourly that white people are asking for. That's why I want you. Isn't that interesting? I learned some of these things because I found out too that there were individuals who, dare we say it, didn't talk typical of an African American. This is another reason why this movement of be yourself, because they want to know who they're doing business with. And if you got that little dialect, for some individuals, not all, for some companies, not all, if you got that little dialect that says, oh, you're African American, then that establishment can make a decision on you without ever doing research and finding out what you really look like. And they know that some companies have done this sort of thing over the years. They've literally put a bunch of white faces out there on their website, whether it was stock images, videos, or whatever, and behind the scenes was a black person. Now you see, be yourself. Be authentic. All this other stuff. When you've been around corporate entities that are of other ethnicities, you tend to pick up on some of the mannerisms and the ways. And there is no be authentic, be yourself when that's all you've been around. And some of these individuals that I had been around, that's all they had been around, was a European. So when you closed your eyes and you listened to them, you swore that you were talking to someone other than the stereotypical voice or look of an African American. Because some of them could very well pass for white. Now, I will tell you that in this quest of trying to save money, if you have your own prejudices, and for some individuals, well, we don't have to save that much money. If that means that we got to open up the doors and let certain people in, then no. We're good. We cut this, we cut that, we closed our stores. We did everything because our brand is not for that particular ethnicity. Wow. Yeah, it's cutting, isn't it? So before we let that ethnicity work in our stores, before we let that ethnicity pick up the phones or make phone calls, we will close businesses down. God sees it all. God hears it all. You cannot underestimate the Almighty God. He knows our prejudices. All of us have some kind of prejudice somewhere. And some of us, we get angry because we could save money on interest, for instance, when it comes to loans. When it comes to, credit cards and things like that. But you got some of these companies that will specifically target areas where there is a certain percentage of, for instance, African American, Latino community, things like that. And the interest is higher on credit cards and loans than it is in other communities that make more money and that are not brown or black. Tax rates at times too on property, land, homes. Look a little closer at those numbers. I'm hearing that in the spiritual realm. Look a little closer at those numbers. Do your research. Take a look at who's in the community. Take a look at what the interest looks like. Take a look at what the taxes look like. And somebody needs to sound the alarm. Somebody needs to what? Expose. I'm giving you all some inspiration. I'm giving you all as the Lord has given me. Aren't you tired of this foolishness? Once you figure it all out, you're going to get tired of this foolishness. You're putting all sorts of crap in my food. You're putting all sorts of fillers in these products. Remember years ago? Because I grew up during a time where furniture was quality, wasn't it? It was heavy. You needed 3-4 people to lift up a desk, a credenza. You can even see those old movies. Quality. Now look at what this furniture looks like. And then when you go into a store where it's already assembled, then you're paying out the wazoo. And it's still not as good as mamas and grandmamas and great grandmamas. You see, look at the fabrics. You wash it some more. Next thing you know, it's all faded. And notice where these products show up. In communities where, hey, we know you're broke, you're busted and disgusted. You want something that looks like it's expensive, but it's not made to last. So why wouldn't you give somebody something that's made to last so that they don't have to keep buying the same old, only to spend more money if they would have just been able to purchase something of quality, and then they wouldn't have to keep buying? Because, hey, it's about money, right? At the end of the day, they want to make money. You got some of these online businesses out here. Some of the products that they create, they make the cheapest products available to some of these startups because they know you're just starting out. Why not quality products so that I got a good head start? No, the quality products are for later on when you're making some money. Then come see us. If you feel convicted and you know that you're in a position of power, then why don't you do something about it? Why don't you get a nice team of folk like Jesus and empower these folks to go out into the world and spread some serious knowledge where we don't have to sit up here and look for YouTube video after YouTube video to try to figure some things out. Because now what's happening is that we got average Joes and average Janes who, you know what they're doing? They're putting a lot of videos out here that sound like commercials. They're giving you just enough information, and then they're putting some type of product that costs way too much money for us to listen to. And meanwhile, they don't even have all the details. So you just paid hundreds of dollars to listen to somebody who that information they gave you, you could have found on the free videos. The real information that you really need was withheld from them. They never even got the real information, because information about marketing, information about some of these clever sales techniques and tools that are out here is heavily guarded. Some folks years back were impressed on how fast people could publish books or how fast they could put together all sorts of articles and so forth. Here I was, I'm sitting up here still doing it old school style. I'm sitting up here and I'm literally doing things old school style. And then when I finally found out that there was all this artificial intelligence to create all these different things, my stomach just sunk. I'm like, I was on that struggle bus all that time. I mean, you could tell looking at the copyrights and looking at my work, how many years it took to put together those books, how many years it took to keep those blogs populated. Meanwhile, corporate entities, they were saving time, they were saving money, they had didn't have to hire a bunch of copywriters to do a whole bunch of stuff, not for some of those little writings. Knock those out in like, 10, 15 minutes. AI goes, oh, okay. Finds a bunch of information, splices it together, voila. Saving money. There are tools. Always look for what tools. And I say that with passion. Always look for what tools that are out there for whatever it is that you aspire to do. Marketing, oh, there's a tool for it. Writing, oh, there's a tool for it. Website building, website blogging, there's a tool for it. Or many tools. You'll still need a man or a woman at some point if you don't feel you're tech savvy to be able to, put the tools to work. But they're out there. They're out there. There's tools for getting leads. Tools for siphoning information. Tools for transcribing information. And some of you all, if you did not get What Else Can I Do on the Internet, it was interesting because years ago when I put that book together, some of that information that's in that book, people are now using it in mass numbers in terms of, the various things that I was talking about, sales, marketing, customer service, and all that. They've come out with all sorts of programs. So it's just a matter of what is it that you want to do, and then find a tool for it. That's it. What do I want to do? Or what did the Lord lay on my heart, lay on my spirit? Oh, there's a tool for it. God himself even told me that. But when you're busy and you're out there working for other people, you don't know that these things exist. And they don't want you to know that these things exist. Because if they're dominating the internet with all of their huge corporations, they wouldn't want you to know, because you're going to be competition for them. So I thank those of you all who have been so supportive over the years by sharing, liking, subscribing, and those who have dropped a dime or two. Appreciate you. Blessings to you.